Hello, everyone, and I'm so excited to be here with Jillian from My Beautiful Self org, and we're going to be talking breast cancer and beauty. And first and foremost, I'd like to just briefly introduce myself and talk a little bit about the AiRing Foundation. My name is Melissa Berry, and I'm the founder of CancerFashionista.com. I help women to look and feel their best throughout their breast cancer journey and beyond. And I am so honored to be partnering with the AiRing Foundation for our Airing It Out series. And the AiRing Foundation is amazing. They help raise money for women who cannot afford breast reconstruction. And they also educate and empower women to make great choices. And I'm just, again, so honored to be working with them. And, you know, this is obviously a very difficult time that we're going through. And it's certainly very difficult for nonprofits. So if you are interested in donating to a great cause, especially now during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, please consider donating to the AiRing Foundation at airsfoundation.org. So without further ado, I would love to introduce you to the beautiful Jillian Varon-Rezo. Jillian is a beauty authority and media spokesperson whose work has spanned 3 decades. Her artistry and media skills have taken her across the globe, where she served on the elite global team for Bobbi Brown Cosmetics in over 14 countries. Honestly, I didn't even know a lot of this about you until I started to work on this. Jillian has served as a makeup authority and spokesperson on global home shopping, including QVC and TVSN, where her knowledge and approachable technique reached millions. From leading teams at Fashion Week, the Oscars, industry red carpet events, editorial, ad campaigns, television, and so much more, Jillian is considered one of the best in the industry. When it comes to the art of the before and after, her transformative talents are nothing less than magic. Jillian is also a 5-year breast cancer survivor and co-founder of the nonprofit Beautiful Self with her best friend Michelle. Before, and I love you, and I just didn't even realize, you know, what an incredible, you know, makeup veteran you are. You really.
Aww. Well, you know, you never introduce yourself as, hi, here's my resume. So thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, you know, without, I think the best place for us to start is really to talk about your background as a makeup artist and your breast cancer journey and how it led to the creation of Beautiful Self org. Because what I think what you and I have so much in common is sort of like our professional life and our breast cancer life collided and made this love explosion. So I want to kind of, let's maybe start, tell us a little bit about how you got into makeup, and then maybe talk about your breast cancer journey.
Okay, well, really quick, because you gave me such a beautiful intro. So thank you for that. I'm so grateful that AiRing Foundation wanted to come together with Beautiful Self and do something together. Like, we're really honored, and yay, girl power, right? So,
absolutely.
So having said that, you pretty much said it all. But I will say I started my career in the late 80s. I hated college. And at the time, I didn't want to go to school. You know, that was the era, because I'm in my late 50s, of standing in the aisle and spraying perfume. And we got a lot of money to do that back then. So I was like, I'll do this. Never think it would be a career. My mother was like, well, then you need to go to work if you're not going to go to school. So I fell into it, basically. And I just happened to have a talent for it. And I started with Chanel, and I've been in makeup ever since, from spraying in the aisle to moving, you know.
Spraying the aisle, I love that.
Yeah, that was like, try Chanel number 5, try Chanel number 5.
I'm sure you were amazing at that, even. Like,
well, you know, there was like thousands of us standing on that aisle. But anyway, so from there, I just kept growing and growing. Oh, I apologize. I thought I turned my phone off.
It's okay. We were just saying before it's live, things are going to happen. You never
know. Hold on. I did turn it off. Don't know what happened here. And I have lost you a little bit. Let me just go back and see if I can get you back up on my screen. There we are. Sorry about that.
Please.
So, you know, basically my career went from there and kind of went all the way, you know, Bobbi Brown, global. At Philosophy, I created a makeup line. I was with Prescriptives on QVC, all these wonderful, wonderful things. I want to fast forward to really the breast cancer piece of it, because all that experience did kind of lead me up to where we're at. So I was diagnosed in 2013. At the time, I was really in a bad place in my life anyway, because I had a big girl job that my department was dissolved. So it was like everything was falling apart. I felt like I had been diagnosed with cancer. I lost my big girl job. I was aging and not really aging gracefully into it. Now I'm like, cool, yay. But back then in my 40s, it was kind of a little tricky time.
Mhm.
So having said that, yeah, I was diagnosed and not working. So Michelle, who lives around the corner and is one of my best friends in the world, would say to my husband and I, well, I can only make so much soup. What can I do for you? What can I do for you? And as I got sicker and sicker and sicker, as you know, as a survivor, the Taxol, the AC, the longer you go, the more the chemo starts to really wear you down. So Michelle would come over every week and we documented the journey and we just had fun with it. And it was a way for me to express myself. It was never about the makeup. It was about expression through trauma. So that was really kind of that little genesis thought of, well, maybe, I don't ever go in and tell anybody about my background. So we thought, you know what? I was coming out of radiation. I had no idea what was about to come as far as what survivorship was like, because, that's a whole nother story.
Absolutely.
But I thought, well, we'll go and we'll do a give back. We'll just see if one woman wants to do some images and we'll do the makeup and, but it wasn't. And we went in and to the support group. And instead of one person saying, I'll do it, 30 people signed up. And we were like, oh, crap. Like, what are we going to do? So we've evolved, though, since then. It became something very different from its genesis of give back. It became something very, very different.
Incredible. Oh my God. Well, thank you for, walking us through that. And, so I think this is a good segue. Like, so what exactly is beautifulself.org today?
Okay. So, thank you. We eventually discovered that self-image trauma lasts years after you're done with initial treatment. We, as survivors and metastatic fighters, we suffer silently because people are like, but you look great. You look healthy. That was years ago. Get over it. So we kind of feel we sit with it. It's very personal. And yet we suffer this self-image dysfunction because it comes along with emotional, psychological, sexual, physical. We gain weight. We get lymphedema. We have scars. Nothing's the same. So our mission is to empower survivors and metastatic fighters to thrive in this new self because we're placed back into an old normal. It's not a new normal. It's the old normal, but now you're absolutely new. So we do things from, once collateral damage sets in. So we do things from outreach programming, educational series, to our powerful phototherapy sessions. We're definitely pivoting and evolving as we go, especially now with COVID.
And I love that you took your own personal journey and you're extending it and you share so many amazing tips. I mean, it's sort of like you're an incredible combination of a makeup genius and breast cancer survivor, because who else could better understand how, like I always say, putting lipstick on doesn't change how you feel physically or outcome, but it lifts you. It like wakes up the woman inside and it's like, I'm still here. And in fact, what I loved, you shared some really interesting photos, which will pop up of you when you were going through treatment, where you really had no brows, and then you were able to create new ones. And later on, we're going to actually talk about how you do a demo. But I mean, this is what so many women face. They look in the mirror and they think, I don't look like myself, but like then you show that you can, with a pencil or, some powder, you can actually create your own brows and make yourself feel better by, having, looking more like yourself and recreating the brows. Can we bring up the after of Jillian? There, see, like so simple, like you don't have to, it's nothing but something subtle like that, right? I'm sure you felt so much better when you were going.
Yeah, that was literally the same week. And that was a terrible week for me because that was the week I wanted to take that photo that I did lose my brows because they were the last thing to go for some reason. Everything else, everything, the lashes, the hair went, but all of a sudden I was like doing this and it was just like pop, survivors know that feeling. So I was, I decided to have fun with it. I was like, well, you know what? Now I'm going to have fun with it. So I'm just going to draw in every day and, create. And honestly, people thought those were my brows. Listen, you're not fooling anybody.
And it's not like you did anything too like crazy or dramatic. It's just like a quick everyday, just fill it in so you have a brow.
Yeah. And I loved doing it. I loved drawing that in because I never liked my real brows anyway.
I know there's so many alternatives, even for those that are not going through treatment. If you don't like your brows or lashes, there's so many options.
Yeah.
I had the incredible opportunity of being one of your subjects for Beautiful Self.org. And I think something that I also want to touch upon is the fact that, again, even though makeup doesn't take your pain or your symptoms away, this transformation can really make you feel a lot better and feel beautiful. And you know, we can pop up some of these pictures. I mean, what you guys do is incredible. You do the makeup. There's someone that does incredible hair, and you have gowns. This is several months ago. This is sort of like when Jillian was working on me.
Girl, I love to paint that face.
Background. I mean, you really feel like a princess for a day. It's incredible what you do.
Well, you know, it's very much about, the makeup is just a tool, because it's actually about, and I remember you very vividly that day, because at the end you said, I didn't even expect to feel this, what I felt that day, this emotion.
It wasn't makeup and the hair and the gown. There was something, you pushed some other buttons, seriously.
We pull out that side of you that lays dormant, because we're like, well, this is it now. This is what it is. But it's not. You got to accept the fact that we have all these changes, as you would with natural aging and menopause. They're just heightened and quickened. So we allow you to express that. And through that expression comes this power and self-love. And like, wow, I'm here and I'm not what I was. Because I went into cancer a very skinny, young-looking brunette. And I came out of cancer 30 pounds heavier with a pushback hairline with like a muddy color hair. So we come back different. We have to accept it and figure out how we can feel beautiful in it.
I thank you for being so transparent and sharing. And, you know, I think we can all agree, and those of us that are in the middle of treatment, like you embrace those changes and then you work with them, and you know, and that's how you, I think, sort of retain your inner essence and your beauty. You just have, for lack of a better word, you need to work with what you have and not mourn what you may have lost.
Absolutely. We spend so much time looking back, and I wasted those. I talked to you about the years in my later 40s where I was like, I'm aging and everybody's looking at the 20-year-olds. And it was this utter ridiculous meltdown that was very real at the time. You and I always joke about being Leos, but as a Leo, it was like, you know, the vanity piece was huge. So getting cancer was an opportunity, I think, to hit the reset button in a way. You know, like, okay, I am not an ingenue anymore. I am a power goddess who has been through X, Y, Z, and now I have to accept it. Now I have to accept it. And that's what we kind of help you find.
And that's the hardest part. And like, for those of you that are going through treatment right now, I wish I had heard this conversation, because this isn't the stuff that your doctor talks to you about. You know, it's so easy. Again, goosebumps, like looking at old pictures or looking at your closet and the dresses you used to wear. And it's like, you almost need to go through the process of mourning that. And then you need to say, okay, my hairline's different. The texture of my hair is different. I'm still here. I'm good. What, you know, so how do I do this new hair? How do I work with these new lashes? And there are great tools out there and experts like Jillian to support you.
I love it. I own it. You know, I always laugh. You just own it. I always say,
you look amazing. There's someone that actually, I keep looking at this comment and I'm smiling. Shawnette said, you're in your 50s. I want whatever lotion you're using.
Thank you. I can't see it. Thank you so much. That's so kind, especially since we've been through the war.
What are you using?
I just turned 56 and I'm like, all right, you know what? Power goddess on.
What lotion are you using? I want to know.
I'm right now using the Sexiest Beauty Rose Balm. It's one of my favorites because it leaves an absolute glow on the skin. Like, it is amazing.
So I love that. Well, thanks for sharing your beauty secret.
I got a few. I have a big mess in front of me.
I love it. So what is the Sexy Survivor series?
So at Beautiful Self, we do two things. The Sexy Survivor is a beauty-centric show that I do. It's all beauty based around survivorship and fighting and the difficulties that come with it, where I always go, I'm the sexy survivor, you're the sexy survivor. We're all the sexy survivor. So that is a beauty-centric show that we do at Beautiful Self. Now we do also do, especially with COVID, we've had a pivot. We do Tip Tuesdays. Tip Tuesdays are segments where we bring in special guests to talk about things that mean things to us. So we have counselors, we have stylists. So we're starting to bring people in to broaden not just the beauty world, but the fun things we talk about.
This is on your Facebook page that you do it?
This is on Beautiful Self Facebook page or our website.
Beautiful Self Facebook page or the website. We can get Tip Tuesday. Oh, I'm going to have to tune in. I have to mark my calendar for that.
We're going to have to get you on. Just saying.
That's amazing. I love that. Well, thank you for having, I love that sexy and survivor are in the same sentence. Like, kudos to you for that.
Have to do it. Have to feel it.
Absolutely. So we touched upon this a little bit earlier, but what are some of the self-image difficulties that you personally faced when you were going through treatment?
Well, I think everyone is very different in their moments, and how they feel is very individual. I know you're asking me. So I would say for me, being bald was fine. It was liberating. I had always hated my hair. I have terrible hair.
Did you have long hair before breast cancer?
Only in the 80s, and those were extensions.
Wow.
I've always had short hair, not this short,
Right.
but like a pixie.
I can't picture you any other way.
I'll show you some 80 pictures. You would die.
I want to say.
Okay.
I'll show you my spiral. I look like John Bon Jovi in high school. I'm not even
kidding. we killed the ozone layer. You're younger than me, but we killed the ozone
layer. Many times over.
But, I think everybody is different. And for me, my horrible struggles, the real trauma set in about a year later, not during. I feel like that happens to a lot of women because you're fighting. You've got something on your ticket. You're at doctor's appointments. You've got support. Everyone's coming in with meal trains. Everything is, for lack of a better word, it's kind of like, well, we'll help you. We'll help you. We'll help you. It's complimentary. And then a year later, nobody talks about like, all right, this doesn't work anymore and that doesn't work anymore. So for me, my unique difficulties accelerated after initial treatment.
Wow. Yeah, I can relate to that. Because and I'm sure a lot of you out there that are listening, this resonates. Like when you're going through treatment, you're like, okay, so I know I'm going to be bald and I know I'm going to lose my brows, but it's like after, when everything's going back and everyone's sort of like, oh, you're fine now. Right. And you feel like you're supposed to be like your old self again, and you're not. And
you'll never be that person again.
And that's okay.
Yeah. It's just different. I mean, like some women will stay flat. Some women, I have lymphedema. It's a big problem. So you don't even realize that clothes in my closet don't fit me because my left arm is so much bigger than my right arm. Or women who have one breast. There's all these things that happen. Or you're 30 and you're accelerated into menopause, past menopause, and they don't want to bring you back. So as we all, it's a lot of factors that you have to deal with. And as women, we struggle every day with the demons of self-image anyway. We are fed a youth culture. We are fed a beauty culture that is, here is the look that is deemed beautiful. And I'm glad to see that is actually starting to collapse in on itself, because it's all about you and your unique gorgeousness. Otherwise, we just all look the same.
Exactly. Well, thank you you just illustrated that so beautifully. And it's funny because I'm 7 years out and I forgot that I had the same experience where I was mourning my old self, and I felt that like, I think 1 year out was almost harder than actually going through the steps of treatment, because there's this expectation of you're supposed to look a certain way. I completely and very remember when I got back to work. I remember I was at QVC and I was back and I saw a tape of myself and I had some bald spots. I was like, whoa, what's that? And then I noticed all of a sudden, like, wait a minute, like I have a belly, I have a menopausal belly. These are things that people would say, oh, it's vanity. No, this is reality. Yeah.
This is how we feel about ourselves. How dare
someone else's body sometimes. And then,
Yeah. And there's a perception of you should just get over it. And I remember on Facebook, somebody trolled me and I was working for a company and I wanted them to vote for this lotion I had wanted to invent that didn't happen. And I remember very clear, the person said, get over it and just be grateful you survived. And I was like, they are not two separate things. I am grateful, but I also want to feel as a woman whole and beautiful.
Absolutely. I love that. And it's so true. So now that we got the really difficult stuff out of the way, let's have fun.
I'm in. It's all fun. Okay.
It's going to shift gears. So we're going to get to the nitty gritty of it. What are some makeup tips that you can share with us that you learned firsthand as a breast cancer thriver?
Okay, here's what you need to do if you're fighting right now. You have to get your survival bag ready that works for you. What you need to feel good plus filling in the gaps is really important. And you want to stick to those things. So number one, I need you to pay close attention to your skin, to your lashes, and to your brows. Because of what you're going through and the chemo and the hormone depletion, your skin's going to take a hit. You're probably going to get darker circles. You're going to look tired when you're not. You're going to feel like you're aging faster. And for a lot of us too, losing the lashes and the brows, it comes with tearing eyes. It comes losing the hair in your nose. It comes with a constant runny nose. So really invest. If you're saying, where do I put my focus and investment through treatment? Your skin, number one, your lashes and your brows. Really, really important. That should be your survival kit. Get your little kit, and that's what you should have.
Skin, lashes, brows.
Survival kit.
So true. God, where were you when I was going?
Love you.
But we're here now. And like I have always said, and I'm sure you agree, I love our community, and I kind of think of everyone that's going through treatment as my little sisters, because I never had a big sister growing up, and I feel like we're like the big sisters now. Like, yes. When you have a big sister, it's like, what do I do on a first date? Like, what do I wear at my interview?
Yeah. You so want to hold their hand when you see them posting how scared they are in all these support groups, and say, no, I promise you, in a blink of an eye, you'll be on this side giving the advice.
Yep. And it does happen so quickly. Mm-hmm. Are there any makeup colors that one should avoid when you're undergoing treatment?
Okay, so I really like this question, because you have to remember, first I want to preface it with this. You have two different ends of the spectrum. You have very fair skin and you have very deep skin. No matter what your skin tone is, you are going to see some changes when you're in the throes of treatment. Usually if you're a very rich, deep skin, you're going to see it gets a little bit more of an ashen gray. And if you're on the lighter side, it's going to get a little more of a greenish tone at times. So before I give you the obvious answers, it's really about knowing, if I have a deep, rich, beautiful skin, dark purple or dark brown would be natural on me. Light purple would be not natural on me. Okay. So have a great understanding of what your own natural colors are within your shade spectrum. Then I would say, and the obvious answer, but I want to kind of work around it. The obvious answer would be, of course, purples, reds, greens, oranges, things that could make you look sick. But I'm going to hold that with, it's not about the color. It's about how you wear the color. Okay. And that's really, and I want to talk to you and show you.
We have show and tell. I didn't even know.
It's a little bit of show and tell. It's not extreme, but I have it. So let's say you are not feeling well and you saw the Chanel ad for Chanel Red. Right? So you were like, oh, I want to try Chanel Red. If you were just to take a Chanel Red eyeshadow and put it on your lid and then put your lips on red without anchoring it with anything around it, yes, you're going to look sick. So you must anchor everything. What are your anchor colors? Anchor colors are neutrals. So you should always have a palette of neutrals: gray, brown, peach, white, darker colors. Have a palette of neutrals to start with. Everyone should have that. So then if you want to do a little bit, like, I love e.l.f. I mean, really, for $3, they're fun, they're vegan.
Target, or I think of Harmon, and it's so inexpensive.
They're so inexpensive. So let's say you wanted to do something that had a red tone to it. Mm-hmm. So if any skin tone was to put this on, which is a beautiful color, right? And you did not put something deeper around that, it's going to make the eye look tired because there's no separation. Okay. So what you want to do is, if you want to wear that color and you're in treatment, is you want to take a very simple black or brown eyeliner. And what we do is we separate it. So doing this along the lash line now is going to separate any discoloration. So if it's alone, you're bleeding into no lashes and redness on redness. If you're separating it with a base color of black or brown, now we're kind of getting the whole visual that doesn't just hit a red on a red tired eye.
Got it.
Anchor colors are very important.
I'm sure when you went to school for this, there's probably a whole science behind color.
Well, I didn't go to school. I went to the school of hard knocks. So I've been doing it for 30 years.
Amazing.
So that's, you pick up all this stuff along.
You just know. So maybe like a good rule of thumb also is like not to start experimenting with colors that you've not worn before. Like maybe stick to the palette that like you've had success with even before treatment.
Stick to your palette. And if you want to play, then make sure that if you put on a red blush, that you have a beautiful foundation and you're doing a little highlighter over that red. So we're not putting on a tired gray skin or a tired ashen skin a sweep of red.
Mm-hmm.
It's like not preparing a canvas. You know, you have to prepare it. So yes, to answer your question, stick to what makes you feel safe. But at the same time, if you want to try something new, just make sure that the lines that are empty, meaning your brow, your lash line, are filled in.
Okay.
That's really important.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, thank you for that. That's great. Great advice. So, you deal with so many women that are either going through treatment or they just completed their treatment. What would you say are the biggest concerns among breast cancer patients and thrivers when it comes to beauty and self-image?
So I love that question because it came to me so easily. I didn't have to think about it because, I've been so blessed to work with so many, as you said. And the number one concern is whether you're in treatment or out of treatment, is that you don't look like yourself anymore. That is it. It's that you long for, and we talked about this early on, who you were. You miss it, you mourn it. And that's the number one image concern, who I was versus who I am now. In treatment, the identification of being bald, the identification of not having lashes, or, people knowing you're sick. And then long after, the identification of, that's not me. I don't look like that anymore. So for me, it's really about when you're in treatment, knowing this is not, this is temporary. This is not, it's not definite. This is temporary. And then learning to love yourself in what is now over there.
Absolutely. So well said. I love that. Thank you you answered that. It makes so much sense. Now, why do you think wearing makeup makes someone feel better about herself?
All right. Because you know why? Because it gives us control. It's our cosmetic armor. And Michelle coined that term once. She said cosmetic armor. I was like, that's
cosmetic
it.
Armor?
Ooh. Cosmetic armor. Right? Because it's like if I'm sick and I paint on my face, I kind of like, oh, okay, I'm still here. I'm still here. I still look good. And if you're in the throes of survivorship, then you're just putting on, we're drawn to sparkly, pretty colors and things. So it makes us feel good to grab a lip gloss. How many times have you gone to a makeup counter saying, I'm just going to pick up my one lip color? And you're like, ooh, like your pretty things.
Candy. Yeah.
It's candy. So it's just about control and feeling pretty. So that's why makeup makes us feel better. That's the number one thing. It's number one's control. It's cosmetic armor.
Control factor. That's a big deal.
Gives us control, an out of control world for us.
Yeah, and I've also, and you'll probably agree with this too, that it's the makeup. It's not just for other people; it's for yourself. Like I've had days. I remember some of my worst chemo days, and sometimes when you just catch yourself in the mirror, and you have even just if you take a multi-stick, it's like just do it, even just to put some color on your face, you just feel more like yourself.
You just feel more like yourself, and this is just not. It's beyond makeup, but I think if you're going through treatment and you are completely nothing, like you have nothing, I think it's a time to take bold choices and have fun at home. Sure. I've never worn a blonde wig. I've never done this. I've never tried this. Oh, I was never a makeup girl before. Let me have some fun. I'm not saying you have to step out into your job and your world. We talked about that, but use it as a time to experiment. Have fun with it. Use it to experiment. It's the only time, knock wood, pray to God, that you'll see yourself like that. So I was always fascinated to look into my own eyes to say, do I really see me beyond the artifice? Like, who am I? Who are you in there? I get to see you. So it's not always a bad thing.
It's almost like a rebirth in a sense.
Yeah.
Start over, clean slate. Like even beyond cosmetics, it's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to rock some big earrings because I don't have any hair. So like, I'm going to just change my whole thing here.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not, the bald is not a bad thing. I mean, I loved when the Black Panther came out because I loved how they showed the warrior women all with their bald heads. I was like, yes, that is so, I love that look. I love, Amber Rose was my spirit animal when I was kind of coming out. Cause I was like, all right, this is kind of how I'm going to look, curvier and a shaved head. So there's ways that really, you can feel better just by playing around and looking at it and saying, yeah, okay, I'm going to play with this.
I love that. I love that. So let's say you're definitely not feeling well, but you want to wear a little bit of makeup. What are the 3 or 4 products that you would suggest for like just a quick makeover?
Four things. You've got to have something to brighten your skin. So whether that's a moisturizer that brightens, or a highlighting powder, or a bronzing powder, you need something that brightens your skin. One thing. You need an eyeliner. You've got to have an eyeliner because there's nothing around the eye. You've got to have an eyebrow pencil. And then I would have a delicious tasting balm, like a vanilla balm, or something that makes you feel good. So 4 things that'll get you out the door. Remember, we go back to skin, lashes, brows. Those are the big thing. And then something that, when you're in treatment, everything can taste weird. It's a little off.
Oh, yes. Anything that has like a funky flavor.
Yeah. So maybe like a vanilla or something that kind of tastes good to you would make you feel better.
Yeah, and I think, a common theme in sort of this whole airing out series is just how we can feel better outside of, medication and the treatment. And for those of you that are just joining, I just wanted to reiterate and thank the AIRS Foundation for this platform, and for me to have incredible guests join me for these really important conversations, and to thank the AIRS Foundation for what they do. And that's, they really help women who cannot afford breast reconstruction to be able to afford it, which is amazing. And, this is all an important conversation, whether it's makeup or breast reconstruction or your hair. It's how we take care of ourselves before, during, and after treatment. So the airsfoundation.org, you can visit. And as I mentioned before, this is obviously a very difficult time, especially for nonprofits. So for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, if you're looking to make a difference, definitely consider the AIRS Foundation. We're certainly huge fans over here. So, what is I'm excited about this question. Can you tell me, what's the one product that you cannot live without?
Oh, girl, please. Since I was 8 years old, a black eyeliner.
Oh, okay.
A black eyeliner saves the day on everybody, because and the degree that you wear it is up to you. But a black eyeliner makes your lashes look thicker. It pops the eye. It's natural. It's everything. A black eyeliner. That is my go-to.
Now I'm going to go a little deeper on this one. So is it a pencil? Is it like, what is it? Do you put it on inside the waterline?
I use a pencil. I like a pencil. And then if I want to do something out like strong, then I move to a gel or a liquid. But for every day, I put it right inside, because you have to go, because, our lashes don't necessarily come back the same way even, everything's a little different. Or if you don't have lashes. So you want to take that black eyeliner. I mean, I have mascara on now, but it's about getting in between the lash line. So it's not so much about the inside waterline. It's about going up and getting inside here and wiggling into the lash line if you have lashes. And if you don't, it's your lash line. And from corner to corner, just with a tiny little wing out, and that will pop every eye, every color. It's multi-generational. It's not age thing. A simple black liner is so beautiful.
That's so, and I have to agree. I was like, is she going to say mascara? But it's a good point, the eyeliner, because if you don't really have a lot of lashes, then that could be difficult.
Totally.
Is it important to invest in a good set of makeup brushes? If so, why?
All right. So brushes are only important in alignment with what you use. That is it. So if you're a makeup artist, then you need a great set of brushes. But as a woman or a man, whatever, your preference for makeup is in the mirror, putting on your makeup, you don't need a set of brushes that don't align with what you wear every day. So for me, yes, I've got my makeup artist set of 1,000 brushes, but Jill personally, I've got a big powder brush and a big bronzer brush and maybe one eyeshadow brush. That's it. So there are a lot of great brushes out there, from e.l.f. to Ulta.
Very overwhelming.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. They're all good now. Everything is good. It's not like it used to be 30 years ago. So you really do have a good choice of brushes out there.
There were these incredible MAC brushes or whatever little thing they stuck in the Maybelline compact.
Yeah, it would be like, ooh.
Like the brush that looked like when the kids are watercoloring in school. It's like, oh, let me put my blush.
I used to wear a Ziza from like 1982 with that brush.
Oh my God. Well, I still kind of love Wet n Wild, but I remember when I was in like junior high school, my mom was like, no makeup. And I'll never forget, it was a purple iridescent with like the blue tint Wet n Wild. I had that in my little DoorDash purse. So I'd be like, no makeup. I hope my mom's probably watching this. And I get to school in the bathroom, like whip it on.
Wet n Wild, still, I think is one of the funnest little brands out there. And you know what? They're cruelty free, and I'm down with that. So, yeah.
Then you really play. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Products. I love it.
To answer the questions, get the brushes that you need, and don't worry about investing in things that you're never going to use.
Right.
So
excellent advice. Excellent. All right, here's a really important one. If someone wants to wear false lashes, once they've lost their lashes, what kind would you suggest and what kind of glue?
So on the glue question, I'm going to say go for a trusted company like a Thrive. Thrive makes a lash glue, because you need a company that understands the gentleness that we need around the eye rather than a mass market, it's fine, just put it on. So I'm going to answer with Thrive Cosmetics for that.
I actually personally love it too. And it's interesting, even 7 years ago when I asked my oncologist, I was like, and he was pretty laid back, but I was like, are you okay with me using lash adhesive? And he was like, really, when I was going through treatment, he was like, do you really have to? He actually wasn't, but I was really relieved to find that Thrive, I feel like they get it. I don't know how clean it is, but it has less.
It's more gentle, I think. I think that, their whole company is based around cancer patients, serving cancers, people in cancer treatment. So I feel like they have a better understanding. I personally have found them to be more gentle. As far as the lashes go, I'm a huge fan of Elegant Lashes. I also like Ardell and
Ardell.
Yeah. So Elegant Lashes, Ardell, and I always go for Wispies. I think Wispies are the most natural. I don't like doll bat lashes. I don't think they're necessary, and I don't think they look good. So Wispies.
The Elegant Lashes, is that like Ardell that you could find in a drugstore, or is that a fancier?
Elegant, I think you have to buy, they definitely help Beautiful Self. So I think they're more bulk. So I think you have to buy them a little in bulk, but you might be able to buy them separately, but they're not expensive at all. But I would go online for Elegant Lashes, but Ardell and Arden are in the drugstore.
So great. And then from Ardell, so is that when you say Wispies, I just want to make sure everyone knows if they're like taking notes. I know I would be. Wispies, is that like one of their types that you can get?
Yes, it'll say Wispy usually on it. And I think there's a few numbers. There's like 110 is a nice, very natural one. You want to look for natural because, the minute you put them on, they look exaggerated, even if they're natural. So without a doubt, if you have 0 lashes, you want something natural, because it just, otherwise it's doll bat. It's doll. It looks like that doll bat.
Right. Especially if you don't have lashes, it could even be more exaggerated, because then it looks, because the idea is you want it to look relatively natural, like a little bit of drama.
Yeah. And again, the lashes aren't as important as the eyeliner.
If there's one takeaway from our lesson today, it's the eyeliner. Girl, I love it. Okay, guys, get ready. We're going to have a demonstration. I'm really excited about this. So what is the best way to fill your brows in once you've lost all or most of them? For example, do you prefer brow pencil or brow brush with eyebrow powder?
All right. Here's the 4 things you're going to need.
Okay.
And I will take off my brow. I'm going to show you. You need an eyeshadow base, something that's like a lock and load. Get yourself a micro pencil, a micro brow. NYX makes, ELF makes, everybody makes. You can go anywhere to get a micro pencil, but you want a micro pencil. Then you want a brow. This is, if you have any brow left, you want a little brow gel. If you don't have brow left, then don't worry about it. And then you're going to want a setting spray. So I want to walk you through it.
We're not messing around.
No, because when you have no brows,
doing your hair,
it's the same. And you want to invest in something that's not there. We talked about that. Your brows are not there. Your brows are what create character on the face. So you have to invest.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Now, my brows between the 90s and cancer did not survive. I'm just telling you. All right. And another way I want to tell you how to find your perfect brow shape is to go back in time and look at pictures.
Oh, wow.
So if you've never had a high, brilliant arch, it's not going to suit your face now. If you've always had a straight brow, go with a straight brow. Look at the pictures you had before you lost your brows and try to recreate that. There's no cookie cutter formula. I know everyone wants one. I don't believe in magic tricks. You have to kind of do the work on that.
Stencils, how are you? Do you believe? I've seen stencils on the market. Do you
Yeah,
recommend?
stencils are hard to work with, but I like Beth Bender makes good, called Beth Bender stencils. I think she makes good ones. Sometimes they're just a little, in general, stencils are bigger than your whole face. Have you ever tried to use them?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I look like a cartoon character now.
Right, exactly. So I still have to draw my brows in very heavy. Now, I'm going to give you a little warning. When I take off my glasses, I don't see anything.
Okay.
So I'm going to do the best I can
Okay.
because I haven't been able.
This still is better than any of us trying to do
I'm
it.
going to do my best, girl. Anything could happen. So I'm going to take off this brow, and I want to show you because this is fully drawn in. So I'm just going to take.
Okay. And they're beautiful, by the way.
Oh, thank you. They take a lot of work. No, actually, they don't take a lot of work. They just take practice. Okay. So see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So all I have is a tail left. So if you're lucky and you have a tail later on in life, that's great. And if you don't, that's okay. We're just going to fill it all in.
Doing this demonstration. This is really awesome.
Oh yeah, I love this is great. So I'm going to take, you can do anything that would like an eyeshadow lock, but you don't want anything that's got heavy oil. It should be something
like a primer or concealer.
Yeah, not a concealer because a concealer is oily. Something that locks things into place.
Okay.
So this is e.l.f. eyeshadow lock. Again, $4. You know, I use it just to
a lock.
I can't read it, but it's e.l.f. Eyeshadow primer lock, I think it's called. Okay, so once you do that, you want to give it just a second. If you're oily, I highly recommend powdering over it. If you're not, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Easy enough. Got that.
Got that. So you put your eyeshadow base on. Now, you can either use 2 colors to get a supernatural look, or you can use 1 color. Okay. So I will show you how to do both. So let's go with, I think, hold on. This should be black. So you want to find the color that works for you. And you know what? I apologize. Just going to make sure I have my right colors. Here's the black. Okay. Now, most people, when they do their brows, they tend to kind of start up top and then they come around. It's very important to create more fullness and naturalness to start under. So I always gently, this is not a hard pull, it's a gentle pull. Hair-like strokes, very lightly. Start to just give yourself a little sketch outline of what you want to do. Very lightly, sketch outline. Just takes a minute, sketch outline. It down. Then
the arch of your brow bone to a degree.
Yes, I'm following. I've always had a small arch, so I'm following where my natural arch was. You can feel it. It's on your brow bone. You should be able to see like, all right, this is where it kind of jets off. So here we go here. Feather strokes, very light, because if it's not right, you're just going to take it off. And then to the front, everything is hair-like strokes, hair-like strokes. So now I kind of built a little baseline of where I want to go. Now I'm going to go on top. This is all in, you can have to practice it, but it's all in the artistry of your hands and just keeping everything very light, very light strokes.
And you probably have to try it a few times to see which shape and like how thick.
What you're comfortable with. I like to go as thick as I can. Now I'm going to take a second color. This is more of a taupey color. And why I'm doing that is because when you do something dense and solid, it looks harsh. When you mix colors, it's like highlighting your hair. It looks more natural. So we're going to take that. Now this is where we can have a little more fun because guess what? It's a little bit lighter than my own natural hair color. So we're going to go up and now I'm going to kind of fill in, have a little more fun. It should look like hair. So it should be little feather strokes, little feather strokes, little feather strokes. Do you see how this is slowly building up?
It's not like a harsh, like where you're just like filling them in real heavy. It's just like a very, like you're layering.
You layer. And then if you have any brow left, and I have a little brow left, take a gel. These gels, this is an e.l.f. gel. You can use anybody's gel. Glossier makes boy brow and things like that. This will grab any little hair that you can find. And that's what I love about it. So you want to just grab all those hairs. And what that does is it's going to create a little more thickness to the brow, a little more natural, like it's, oh, okay, that's a thicker looking brow I'm looking at because it's building with fiber. It's building with fiber. So you build it with this back and forth, fill in the holes. I can see, even though I can't see, I can see that I just made a hole. So then you go back in, you're like, oops, just fill in, fill in, fill in. If you make any mistakes, just take a little bit of a concealer on a brush and go underneath.
Oh, okay.
And then when you're done, just a little bit of a setting spray so it doesn't move, so it locks into place. Because when you have no hair and the makeup is there, it can slide off. So now we're doing everything in our power to lock it in. We did. And, you know, I know it seemed like a lot of product, but it really wasn't. Did you see how fast I did it?
Yeah, it's fast. It's just a matter of like, it looks like you just need to do it very gradually and not make it too dark initially and just like feather it, layer it until you get the
and feather, 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 feather. Get that stroke down. Feather, feather, feather. Start underneath. Build on the top. Brush them up. Brush them in. Fill in the holes. Spray them. And I promise you, you'll be like, oh, okay.
Then you find also by using this little spoolie brush that makes it more natural always?
The gel or?
Like any kind of like an eyebrow brush. Doesn't that help blend it?
If you have hair. If you don't have hair now. But if you have hair, yes. And that's in the picture that you first saw. That was literally one stroke. Because when people don't have brow, their tendency is to take a full-on brush or a gel and go and create hard lines. You want it to look like hair. So draw stroke, 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 stroke.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for showing us that demo. That was amazing.
Tried to be quick.
No, that was really also, I just want to remind everyone, if you have any questions, we have a world famous makeup artist and breast cancer thriver extraordinaire here. So now's a really good time to any questions you have about beauty and breast cancer or beauty in general. We're so happy to answer your questions. So you always look amazing. Do you have a favorite brand or color lipstick that's like your go-to? Like.
Well, thank you for the compliment. I don't know about that, but thank you for the compliment. I will say that 99% of because I'm a nude girl, so I love nudes. So 99% of the time when you see me wearing a nude, it is the Sexiest Beauty. I love her line. She's a little indie brand, and it's called Naughty Nude. So it's probably this. I would live in this, and then I follow up with her. This is always in my bag. This is like a super, super high shine lip gloss. It's called DSL Gloss. It's from the same Sexiest Beauty.
Beautiful.
It's like, bam.
For any of you that haven't tried nude before, go for it. Looks beautiful.
Nudes are easy. So that's always in my bag. That's my lipstick go-to.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you for sharing all your beauty secrets. So what would you say is next for you and beautifulself.org? And do you have any big projects coming up over the next few months that you'd like to share with us?
Well, here's the thing. And I to be really honest and transparent is we're like everybody else. You said it in the beginning. We're trying to find our footing in a COVID world, in a COVID world. So what we're doing is we're pivoting to address the social distance. So we're working very hard to really create more virtual programming to grow our community and to fundraise to keep our doors open. Because as you know, without funding, we can't keep our doors open. So our focus right now is reaching as many as we can in the community and coming up with fun new virtual programs and fundraising. So that's where we're at. Hopefully the world will level out and normalize and we can get back to shooting again. God bless you.
Go live. Okay. So no, that's it. I mean, and I can't, I'm so tuned into what you guys are doing, and we applaud you for, even through this difficult time to continue your mission and bring it to us virtually. So thank you so much for that. And one last question for you, unless we have some questions from the audience, and it's not too late, you guys, if you want to shoot something out, but just a little off topic. What is your guilty pleasure? Tell us something fun about yourself, a fun fact.
I'll go with guilty pleasure because I don't think I'm that fun. So guilty pleasure. My husband is like, what is wrong with you? Like, I love TV. I love Netflix. I am a binge girl. I'm a binge girl. Binge watch. I'm obsessed with documentary. I read biographies like candy. That's my, like, those are my, like, I'm a binge girl. Like, I love to just get a bottle of wine and some cheese and chocolate and sit down and binge.
That's great.
It's not healthy, but it's fun.
I love it. Well, thank you for sharing that and for sharing you and all of your incredible tips. I actually can't wait to watch this over because I need to write down some of the your secrets and
you got a hotline to me. Don't you worry.
Oh, we have a question. Let's see. Thank you, Tamara. So do you have any recommendations for survivors who have a loss of estrogen and collagen to retain a youthful appearance for their skin?
Yes, Tamara, absolutely. I feel you on that. So yes, you have to use things with radiance in them. I'm not talking about sparkle. I'm not talking about mica. I'm talking about radiance. Because our skin gets that dehydrated look, you've got to make sure it's super hydrated with good oils at night and things like that. And then during the day, like I talked about earlier, either use, like, I'm just going to give you, this is a moisturizer with a luminosity in it. So it gives a lot of bounce back. That's the Rose Balm Sexiest Beauty. Or get yourself a good highlighter, like a liquid pump highlighter, and mix it into your foundation, like 1 drop foundation, 1 drop highlighter, buff it on. We always want the light bouncing off our skin because estrogen depletion makes it look older. So we have to put the light back in it, That's what you want.
Love it. I hope that answered your question, Tamara. And I love that you have a solution for everything.
I love to answer questions. I really do.
Well, I can't thank you enough. I mean, I could seriously talk to you all day about this stuff, and I just can't thank you enough for sharing all of your insight and your amazing tips. And I also want to thank the AIRS Foundation for creating this platform and this awesome series called Airing It Out. And please, again, for those of you that you didn't tune in earlier, this is definitely a difficult time for nonprofits. So if you're looking to help make a difference, give back during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the AIRS Foundation is a wonderful organization to donate to. Go to airsfoundation.org. They help raise money for women who cannot otherwise afford breast reconstruction. They also help to educate us about breast reconstruction. So thank you to AIRS. Thank you again, Jillian. And everyone, thank you for tuning in, and keep an eye on the AIRS Foundation Facebook page for upcoming chats just like this. But thank you all once again.
Thanks for having me. Seriously, thanks. I love when nonprofits come together. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.